The best way to avoid a shutdown is have the Senate pass a bunch of minibuses and send them over to the House and jam the House. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Good morning, I'm Anna Palmer.
And I am Jake Sherman.
And welcome to the Daily Punch, brought to you by Punchbowl News. It's Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. Let's get into the mix. Here are your Washington headlines. Number 1, Thune's next big fight. Number 2, Dems on defense in Nevada. And number 3, the latest redistricting battleground, Indiana. All right, Jake, let's get to it. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to St. Olaf College. I'm wearing my sweatshirt from my alma mater. Go Minnesota, go Olies. We talk about fish all the time, so I had to bring a little bit of personal flair this morning.
I would say, I wonder if Fish has ever played St. Olaf, but
Probably
I'm
not.
sure they have in the weird early 90s. Let's see. I'm gonna look this up while I'm here. No,
All right.
doesn't look like it.
I bet they maybe Carlton, but I don't know.
They've played. They I don't know. They've definitely played Minnesota a number of times.
Yes.
Carlton. Yes, there we go. 4-11-91. The Cave. Did you know the Cave?
Yeah, I know what the Cave is. Yes.
Cool.
That's a small venue. All right.
Well, it was 91. This was very early.
We've got some other big personal news. Flyout Day, Jake. We have the logo. We're revealing it this morning.
Yes, we have our logo for Flyout Day, our new show, which is going to premiere in September.
Yes.
Very exciting. Haley Talbot has been captaining our construction at the Punchbowl News Townhouse, which, I want to call Punchbowl News Studios.
We'll have to workshop that one. I'm not quite sure we're ready for that.
I guess there is more than one studio now, or there's 2 studio spaces. So it reminds me of like the big lots in Hollywood.
Definitely the same. Exactly. Just call us, Hollywood. Hollywood to Capitol Hill.
Yeah, exactly. It's very cool. We have a cool video, behind the scenes video of the townhouse being set up, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is where you might be watching this. You might not be, but we have the link in the newsletter this morning. Can we talk about John Thune now?
Let's do it. All right. Senate Majority Leader John Thune has notched wins for President Donald Trump and his party. But we report this morning that now comes his biggest test yet, governing. We have been talking about Thune a lot because the Senate is in this week, the House is out. But it is really setting up a pretty dramatic effort here by Thune as he has to navigate often the balance that we've talked so much about in the House that the Speaker has to deal with, right? The conservatives versus the moderates, and kind of trying to find how he can corral, his kind of conference. John Thune is having to deal with that right now, particularly when it comes with funding bills.
Yeah. So listen, the point of this very good top this morning is that it might be easy to pass a one party. It's not easy, but it might be. It's one thing to pass a one party reconciliation bill. It's another thing to pass a government funding bill in which you need 60 votes. When Democrats are not being particularly cooperative, and the White House, in the form of Russ Vought, the OMB director, is out there saying we need to be less bipartisan in the appropriations process, and he's saying we're going to do pocket rescissions, and we might put down another rescissions package. It's really, really difficult, and it's really difficult now that Democrats, although they're not saying it, but it's difficult to imagine Democrats are going to be very cooperative in December. And we're seeing that even Republicans are not terribly cooperative in getting a minibus together. Now, I want to just say something here. I've heard from people in the administration and people on Capitol Hill that the best way to solve and Andrew says this morning, the best way to avoid a shutdown is have the Senate pass a bunch of minibuses and send them over to the House and jam the House. Good luck with that. I would say, because first of all, the House is very, very sensitive about getting jammed by the Senate. Minibuses are just an anathema to a lot of House Republicans. But maybe Johnson thinks he could put I don't know. I've not spoken to the Speaker about this. out of session. The House session, it's more difficult to get the vibe on things when the House is out of session. But maybe Johnson thinks he could put it on suspension and get Democratic and Republican votes on it. I don't know. He can't get those through the Rules Committee, I don't think. So I'm a little bit skeptical that that's the way out. Or if it's the way out, it's a very messy way out in September. But we shall see. But that is one theory going around in the Capitol.
Well, we'll have to see if the Senate can even get the minibuses across the finish line before the second part of that strategy can play out. Because you've got senators like Rand Paul. I mean, parochial issues come up here when it comes to some of these funding bills, right? And so you've got Thune who's saying like, hey, let's combine military, construction, veterans affairs funding bill with agriculture, with commerce, justice, science. But then you've got Rand Paul saying, no, you got to take some language out of the ag bill because it's going to hurt the hemp industry in my state. I mean, things like that. That's just one example that things crop up. And so we'll have to see if Thune can navigate that. I think the other big thing, and again, we're all watching it. I think everybody certainly in Washington is watching to see how long does John Thune keep the Senate in. The pressure is on from the administration to try to keep senators in longer into the August recess with the pressure to try to put some pressure on passing some of the nominations. But, it's hard. I think it's hard to see them go in much past that first week of August, but I don't know what you're hearing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am. And I said yesterday on the podcast that I didn't understand what the administration wanted, which nominees they want. I still don't fully understand. I have a better sense. This is not meant to be glib. I think the president just wants like his friends who are bugging him to get confirmed. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure
I feel like that's very plausible, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the sense I kind of got from people close to the process, that there are just people who are banging on him like, why am I not confirmed? And he wants those folks to be confirmed. So, that's kind of where I think this is all coming from.
All right, Jake, let's talk about the number 2 story of the morning from Las Vegas. Nevada Republicans are working to make inroads here in Nevada. Our very own Laura Weiss is on the ground talking about how Republicans are trying to use the reconciliation bill and others to try to pick off some of these vulnerable seats in the state.
Yes, Nevada has 3 House Democrats that Republicans are trying to target. Remember, the background here is that Republicans do not believe they're on defense in 2026. They believe they're on offense. They believe that they can knock off Democrats instead of protecting their own, not instead of, but, in addition to protecting their own majority in this midterm election, which is, would buck historical trends, let's say. Stephen Horsford, who represents a big chunk of Clark County. I'm not sure if he represents any other counties, but the Vegas area it says that he believes that the One Big Beautiful Bill, which is now law, is a betrayal. And this is what Democrats are saying. The interesting thing is, Anna, is that the Democrats are suggesting that they want no tax on tips, which is obviously passed as part of the reconciliation bill. They would do it differently. They would do it permanently. Dina Titus said we don't want it sunsetting, which is, this provision did sunset in the GOP bill mostly because of cost concerns. So very interesting, the politics of this. And Laura did a great job from Las Vegas.
All right, on to the number 3 story of the morning, redistricting wars. This is going to be a theme up until the midterm elections, that is for sure. But we have an item this morning looking at not only are Republicans in the Trump administration looking at Texas, looking at other states, but now they've got their eyes set on Indiana. I think the problem here is Indiana might not be quite as vulnerable to the pressure that Trump puts on in terms of actually moving forward with trying to kind of squeeze out another seat.
Yes, it does not seem to me, based on our reporting yesterday with Laura and Ali Mutnick and Max Cohen, that Indiana is going to be particularly interested in blowing up their map. Basically, what they would have to do here is Frank Mervan, who's in the northwest corner, also known as the region, it would be easy to redistrict. Andre Carson in Indianapolis would be a little bit more difficult. They'd have to basically split that up almost like a pinwheel and dole out his many of his Democratic voters. But it does not seem that the Republican leaders in Indianapolis are on board. That might be just too difficult for the state's Republican Party to handle. And so they are, listen, they are probably good. They're trying to redistrict in Texas. They're trying to redistrict in Missouri, most likely. And Indiana might just be a bridge too far for the state Republican Party.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate it. If you like the Daily Punch, please share it on social media. Tell your friends. It's the best way for folks to find out about us. And of course, you can find out more about Flyout Day, our upcoming show. We are debuting in early September by subscribing to our YouTube channel and go deeper on all things Punchbowl News at punchbowl.news. Have a great day and stay safe, everybody.